Greetings, it's Dawn Sly. It's February 6th. And I just got back. I was at the Guitar Society meeting in Corvallis, Oregon. And it was quite lovely. I actually enjoyed it rather much. The stairs were really hard. It's not in the greatest place. I can do stairs, but I pay for it later. And it's really hard on my dog. So I wish they had it in a better place that didn't involve stairs, but it was a cool space. Like a little chair that on a conveyor thingy, a railing chair thingy that it looked interesting. It looked like it would take 2 or 3 or 4 people to work it. But the guitar jam was good. I actually had my saxophone in the car, but it's a guitar jam. I had a guitar in there as well, too. It thinks there's water in there. Charging not available. I have a quiz in the morning on cadences and music, and I've been doing pretty well so far in music lit class. I actually enjoy it quite a bit, so I'm not super stressed because I've done the worksheets. One apparently is missing or it hasn't been entered correctly, but I remember doing it and I remember turning it in. So worst case scenario, maybe I'll have to do it again. I hope not, but it's okay. I like writing music actually a lot. It's getting to the place where things are coming back quite a bit. I used to do it a lot when I was like in high school and college. I enjoyed writing music and I'm gonna get back into it. Right now I just kind of like playing it, and then there's ways to make the scores print out when you play it that way too. So I don't know, I can read. I'm really good at reading good saxophone music if it's giant. But other than that, I know basic chords on guitars, but I don't like reading the note. I don't understand reading the notes very well, so it's just how it is. But I have a really good ear. It's weird for me to see myself in glasses too. If I take them off, I can't see a fucking thing. If I put them on, then I see myself. I don't really like looking at myself when I do this. Doing pretty good at the new apartment. I'm gathering bit by bit pieces of furniture. I got one yesterday that fits my keyboard, my piano really well. I don't have a piano stand. I need a keyboard stand. So, Amazon was out in front of my place today. There were 2 vehicles there, but I don't know what they were doing. But it's exciting. I've ordered a couple of packages and they're not coming from them because my account's locked up because somebody else favored my student prime, my free 6 months of student prime, because I had a student email because I go to Oregon State University, and they took all my shit over, and I had to buy a textbook on Latin music because I couldn't turn it back in. I rented it and I had to pay $60 for it. First they gave me an extension of rental, and I called like 18 times. I called Amazon and I was very friendly and very nice, and they could get all the, maybe, if I were ever to be subpoenaed in court, or if they were questioning my character in court, maybe they could get the Amazon transcripts, because I think by the 18th or 19th or 20 fucking time that people would be a little bit more angry. And I'm not. I'm very friendly every single time. It feels like the makings of somebody needs to be sued. But whatever, can I live without Prime? I have been for a while. I haven't withered up or anything. But, I'm a person that would still listen to CDs if I didn't lose my lifetime collection on a cheesy plastic rotating. What is that? It had four sides. There was like probably about 100 on each side. There's probably about 400 fucking CDs packed into that shit, ranging from like Aaliyah and SWV. I had them. I was a partially black chick growing up in Cresswell. They smacked the black out of me within the first year of me moving there in 1977. So, do not write that down, and it's best if you don't acknowledge that side of you. I'm also Native American, and I'm a teensy bit Asian. I've got some Asian in me as well. Så grejt och göra, Baba. I've talked lots about my background, all the one of you. The trumpet and the trumpet and the trombone. I've been focusing on saxophone because I have a concert on Valentine's Day in campus band, and I play alto sax in campus band here. And so I'm focusing on my sound and trying to get that back, so get a good, nice tone to my stuff. So I'm getting my chops. I used to play like 3 or 4 times a week. I don't practice very often. When I practice, I usually just turn something on and play to it. But I've played a little bit of trumpet the other day. I'm in a new place. I've been here about a week, and there's a lot of people living around here, and I just don't want to I don't think they would kick me out. I just don't want to irritate people because it's loud when I play. Just like it's loud when I sing. I'm loud, but not. I'm either quiet or I'm loud. It's not much in between, I guess. I talk a lot more than I ever used to, and that could confuse people that knew me from a long time ago, but I bumped my head, and I got over some anxiety issues. Partially, they still happen. I have PTSD, got ADHD, I've got neurological disorder, I've got some behavioral conditions relating to traumatic head injuries. I've had like 3 or 4 since 2015. So I don't always recognize when I need to. So that's the problem. That's why I'm not a clinical social worker. Plus, it fucking sucks to be like all clinical all the time. Like, I like to smoke a joint and walk the street. Not streetwalker. I don't sell myself. I don't mean it that way. It's like, I like to enjoy herbage where I'm at, as long as it's not bothering other people. So, that's just how I am. You can't drink in excess, let alone smoke fucking weed, which is the same legalness in Oregon, when you're a clinical social worker, and when you're like a supervisor of people. You've got to set a standard, so not only do you have to follow all the rules, but you have to do it twice as good because you're the fucking boss and you're the role model and all that. I did 24 years of it, not as the role model all the time, but I was I was a contractor. As a child and family therapist. I was at Olala Center for Children and Family. It was my first job out of Boise State University with my MSW in 1996. I have a Bachelor of Science in Psychology in 1992 from Oregon State University, and my first job out of there was a children's farm home. It was not called Trillium. I went through the certification process. I was there after they busted a really nasty sex offender named Hank Duford that was offending children on site, and I worked at that Albany Youth Care Center where he was had an office in the dungeon, in the pantry, and they went through all these different trainings and intense trainings about how to handle sexualized children and how to handle sex offenders, how to notice them, how to personal safety training and boundaries and all that fucking shit was very much happening. And JCO they came to certify there so they could get to a higher level of standards and treat a different kind of kid. And I worked at it was called North Point, Lakeside Shelter. I think it's called North Point now, but back then it was Lakeside Shelter. And it was 30 to 60 to 90 days of kids coming there and being assessed for their behaviors and then being matched to where they should go. And that taught me a lot. I worked for a couple of years at Albany Youth Care Center. There were kids that were 12 to 18 years of age that lived there, and they went to Albany High School, I think it was West Albany High School, so I was over there. And I was a residential treatment specialist, so I basically did fun things with them and took notes and made sure they did the things they were supposed to, and busted them trying to share socks and shirts and things like that. It was a fun job. I liked it. I liked taking the kids. We got to go to Wonderland and do video games, and I drove them around all these places, and went to shoot hoops at the dunk hoops over at Sheldon. They had nice dunk hoops over there at the middle school. And this is a long time ago. I'm fucking old. I'm 52. And it was frustrating because, like, the kids were basically warehoused there and no family ever came to see them. It's like me. No family ever comes to see me. If they do, they sneak it. And, you know, the kids, I helped them get dressed for the prom. Nobody else did. You know, they were there because nobody took care of them right, and they were too fucked up to do anything better. My family just thinks that they know better than I do about my condition, and they don't like marijuana at all. They disagree. But I could cook them some fucking good weed into their food that they could like just fine, and they wouldn't be such asses. It's like, they're just as anxious. They created the anxious mess that I am. It's like, you know, I don't need to go into super details. Nobody's perfect, but we've all got our shit. And so I am in a lot more pain emotionally and physically than I ever let on, so I can handle a lot. So I went to Boise State to get my MSW because I thought I needed to know more about how to work with families, because working with the kids just didn't help if the families were never going to help and change or do anything different. The kids just got old enough, and they either became homeless or they went into the adult system, or they went into jail or prison. You know, I saw a couple of them later on that did okay. They worked hard and they were able to make things of themselves, but it was kind of bleak, and I ended up getting a job at Olala Center for Children and Family after I got my MSW, and it's in Toledo, Oregon. And I was a family therapist there, a child and family therapist in a day treatment center with kids that were 6 to 12. And I learned a whole bunch about stuff, and I worked with two really good psychiatrists. I worked with Dennis Reynolds, who worked at the farm home for a long time, and I hope he fucking has retired, but not. I mean, I would love to see him, but he's older than me. He shouldn't be working that much anymore. And he was a deadhead, and my partner, who's passed on, Lori Campbell, was also in the same circle. She was a supervisor for child welfare in this county over at the coast. And he was good people. He was a deadhead, and I'm sure he still is. And I also worked with Dr. Kazmarek quite a bit, Jack Kazmarek, and he worked for Lincoln County and would come over, and we'd meet with him every month. And the kids that I had on my caseload as play therapy and family therapy, I would get to sit in there, and when they interviewed the kid, and talk to the psychiatrist and usually my supervisor, John Arnold, afterwards, and learn really cool, awesome stuff that got me to be like decent at my job. And that county at that time, we needed people to work with little kids, and so I started specializing and working with kids that were like 3 to 5 years old. Did a preschool Awala program, and I helped kind of write up what the program was going to be, and got into doing that kind of stuff. And they were for kids it was for kids that didn't qualify for special education because they were too intelligent, but their behavior was really out of control, and they couldn't be served by anybody really at that time. Some places now have like options for kids who are that young that are having behavior issues. There's an Old Mill Treatment Center here in Corvallis, Oregon, that has some really cool, innovative ways to deal with early childhood mental health and behavior issues. But I always saw that like the behavior issues, the earlier that you intervene, the better you could help. And I got a lot of education, and by really cool, awesome people like John Briere on trauma, the SCAR conference, where I got to present later as a professional. And then Bessel van der Kolk, he's a really good guy he's really hard to read, and the lectures, he's kind of space off when the weed wears off, but he was very smart and very good at helping understand some of the stuff with how memory is stored in trauma. And I got to work with Pat Lewis, who was from the Duluth model in Minnesota, and Don Chapin, and I'm seeing her face, but I really cannot remember, Joanne Cattell. So to help develop the Crossroads nonviolence program over at the coast, which was, you don't call it anger management, but that's what most people call it. Like when you get in trouble in court and you have to go learn how to not beat people up or say rude shit, that was the place you would go to learn that. And they have groups for women and for men, and they always need funding, and the government used to fund a lot of that stuff through the VAWA, Violence Against Women's Act. And I watched that dry up, and I don't think it's come back yet, but there need to be more ways to help people that are, having rough times that way, women that are being mistreated. So I helped with that. I went into my own private practice. At first I worked with Head Start, and I was the Mental Health and Disability Services Coordinator at CSC, Community Services Consortium Head Start. And back then there were programs in Wallport and Lincoln City and Toledo and Newport, and now there's not one in Wallport anymore, but back then it was statistically the highest behavioral issued school, location back then. And it had to do, it was the place where most people used meth, and they used a lot of meth there, and there were generations of it, and it leaked down onto the children. There's some very scary behaviors in the classroom, and then my job was to show up and just fix the kid who's stabbing people with a pencil, and to do it fast. So that was very interesting, and I liked that job. I got to work with the parents a lot, and out of that I got to do some daycare consultation with the Oregon State University Extension Office. And at one point I had contracts with Oregon State University and Oregon University with their early childhood cares program to consult over there. I think they kind of sunsetted me because I was always fucking high, because I have such a high level of anxiety that I have always been a stoner since I was 13. I'm 52, excuse me, God, don't make myself older. And I've always smoked weed. And vaguely, I have a lot of trauma memories from very young age. I was persistently neglected, and I was sexually abused a lot under age 3. That makes sense for why I was drawn to helping kids really young that got hurt, trying to help cope with that, and now I know why. But one of the things I remember is picking up, and I used to smoke weed back then because people would leave it around in ashtrays, or it'd be around, and I do believe some people are going to come forth. I was on Oahu that remember me smoking marijuana as a really young kid. They probably have pictures. I used to surf. I'd get out in the water by myself, and I just basically learned how to get back in. And I wasn't called Dawn back then. I was called Aurora, like, formally. I think my name was Aurora. They changed it to Dawn at some point. But in Italy, I was called Aurora, and I don't know if that was because my name was Dawn and that was how you say it in Italy, is Aurora, or if my name already was Aurora and they changed it to Dawn later. I don't remember that part. But the birth certificate I have has my stepdad's name on it, and it's really weird, and it's black, and it's like it's from a military base. I was born on a military base in Florida, outside of Miami. And so I don't know exactly what the original, I've never seen the original, and I know the person they've told me is my father is not who it was. But and it didn't work out. They divorced when I was like 8 months old. And I'm having quite a bit of memories. It's weird at how much you can remember back then. And I ended up having a great interest in that field and getting good at it. And even though I've never done methamphetamine, I was sent for special training to work with people who did. And I was in people's homes while they were using it and didn't know it until later and figured it out. And, it's a really harsh drug. People think that it's okay to use it just like marijuana and psilocybin now in Oregon. But it's very different, and it's not, some people actually do okay on it because they're like really hyper and it calms them down, but they get really angry and they do mean things, and it fucks your brain up and it makes you not care about things, and it's really bad. And I have PTSD, and it mimics some of those things, and I've been accused of doing meth because when I get really am in a state, like, I can't sleep very well, and I'm scared to go to sleep because a lot of my bad stuff happens at night when people come in and do things to me. And so, like, I stay up, and I don't know what all they're accusing me of, honestly, because it's never been my thing. I've always been a stoner. So, like, I could have played for Oregon State. I was recruited. I had a couple of scholarships that were offered. There were people that wanted to recruit me. Colorado did. And the ones that were Buffaloes at Colorado State. And I broke my foot, first of all, in my junior year. And I ended up being all-state my senior year, and I got to play after the season. And I just, when it came to, first of all, I bought cigarettes out of a vending machine when we were playing in our state tournament, or at the only time that I ever went to state was on the golf team, and I fucking suck at golf. It's not a good thing. I was the one that they threw the score out because I had a softball kind of hit, and I enjoyed golf because when you had a golf match, you got to get out at like 10 or 11 if it was far away, and you were just gone all day. I was a very good student, but I got bored really easily and stuff, so going to golf was much more fun. And my basketball coach was the golf coach, and he was an asshole. He was dating my best friend that I had a crush on. I found out later that they were a couple, and after we graduated, he took her to the George Michael concert and had sex with her at the hotel and all that. And it's just like he got mad because I took I bought cigarettes out of the vending machine at the hotel. It was 4 quarters, and it's an older kid. And like, when I was a freshman, when I was a starter, we had 3 freshman starters on our basketball team. It was really small. It was Cresswell. We were the Sky M League back then, and there were like 300 people in the whole entire high school. And so, they brought me over as an 8th grader to scrimmage with the high school boys team, okay? It was small. And we we were terrible. We were 1-19 that first year. But anyway, you know, Terry Harrison, hate that fucker, made a big stink and ended up, my scholarship was given away to somebody else. And he was a complete asshole and didn't help with anything. And I got to be stubborn about it, and I didn't want to go to a different school. He was an alumni of Oregon State and had ties. And so, you know, that didn't work out very well. And I remember them giving the scholarship to somebody from the school where I had broken my foot my junior year. And so I ended up just playing intramural ball and deciding to party. Like, I drank a bunch of alcohol back then, and I always smoked weed when I could. And that's, you know, about age 26, I stopped smoking weed never stopped smoking weed. I stopped drinking. I used to drink like 2 or 3 nights a week, and I would get really drunk, and I would watch football because it was a good excuse to get drunk. And you could have football on Saturday, and you could have football on Sunday. So I watch a little bit of tiny bit of football. Sometimes I like it, but it's not anything. It's not that big of a thing for me. You know, I used to go out and shoot pool and do all that stuff. I can go to bars. I have to go to bars most of the time to play music, because that's really most of what the options are around places you go where people want to drink so that they can play music. Or they don't. It's fuddy-duddy, and there's not marijuana gatherings. That's one of the things I'd like to see in this community, is some fucking weed jams. And I've always been that way. I've always smoked a lot of weed. The families I worked with, including some that had police officers, knew that I smelled like weed. I kind of think they might have been conflicted about it. I know that when I was in meetings that way, that people thought, they always would just think it was the families. Unless they knew me really well, they would probably just assume that it was the families coming in reeking of weed, even early in the morning, wake and bake. And right now, there's a situation where people think that maybe I shouldn't be having weed or whatever. And I've always had it. It's my medicine. I've been a medical patient legally in Oregon since 1999 and a grower, except for the last year and a half. I haven't been able to grow for a year and a half, and it is killing me. It's really hard. I love plants, and I'm really good at growing, and I was doing videos to teach other people how to grow and how to make clones, and I got shut down fast, and I got kicked out of my house hard, and there's been, police officers having county parties there, headed by the sheriff, and it's been so fucking hard to not do, things, because if I look crazy or I go off on it, they'll handcuff me, and it's my word against theirs, and they've already done it 5-6 times. Don't have an arrest record, none at all. I couldn't be living where I'm at amongst children and people, on campus if I'd been doing naughty things that way. So it turns out that people told a lot of stories about me. They said that I was masturbating with myself. Susie Day at Willamette Families intimated that in a way that has made it really hard. She hasn't gotten in trouble for it at all. She's actually went and perjured herself at court. A couple of people have done it, and they went in and said that I had to be kicked out of different places because I was publicly playing with myself, which is not something that I do. I think sex is rather private. In fact, nobody really ever sees me with anybody because I don't. And the couple of people I've been with had issues like me and didn't like physical contact and that kind of thing, but I know my next woman is going to be all over me, and people are going to have to deal with it, and they're going to have to let me be at the party and dance with the girl, because it's just going to be, our society's moved that way. I mean, it was bad enough, I didn't come out until I was 26 and stopped drinking. I drank a lot because I didn't like the thought of being gay. I knew I was pretty early on, but when I felt that out with people around me. Either it was drunken and much wasn't talked about, or I blacked out about it, or it just didn't go well. And so I just learned to just be in denial and just plug along. And once I stopped drinking, I didn't have to do that. And I went through all of it. Now I'm back in school, and now there's people that are men, a bunch of men around and young ones. And for some reason they think I'm into men and I want to do things with their privates that I have absolutely no interest in. It's not because I discriminate or anything bad. It's because I was hurt really badly when I was young, and it's just never going to change. And I had my time period of trying, and it didn't go well. And if you talk to any of those guys, they'll say sometimes I was a bitch, but mostly I was nice. And it wasn't good. It wasn't like arguing and stuff. It just wasn't hot. It was not hot. Things didn't get hard or wet, and it wasn't the way things were meant to be. So I've worked through that. Now I'm back with the situations where, people think that I want to be with men. If you're expecting, if you show in any type of way, they think you're fat or that you're into men. And it's none of those things. I was hurt by a bunch of men, and they're taking turns trying to take credit for it because they think that makes them look studly, that it just makes them either look like liars or rapists. So it's been really hard. It's been very frustrating. I'm just focusing on doing my grades and hoping that somebody will finally notice that I'm really being fucked with royally. Like, the thing they're doing lately now is my brand new apartment. I go to sleep with my keys on me or next to me by the bed and my coat, and I wake up and they're in the door. And there's just one or two things askew. And, that kind of stuff happening every night makes you paranoid. It makes you, it jiggles your hypervigilance, but it's fucking torture. It's goddamn torture. I just like to feel safe. Like, I have some Google Nest cams, and I'm fairly certain if I put them up that somebody will be watching it in their home because they're smarter about computer shit than I am. So I don't even want to put them up. It's just creepy. I think cameras are good for a lot of things, but they're also really bad. If you care more about my history of my work shit, I'll have to tell you a different day, because I just don't feel like it anymore. I also gonna sing for a couple times and then go to, probably not to bed, but play some Xbox before I go to bed. I've got my homework done. I have a quiz. I've been accused of being delusional, of grandiose. I think that I'm Jesus. Why the fuck would I think I'm Jesus? I'm really good at joking in a dry sense of humor, ways that people that don't know me apparently think that I mean it. I've also been really bored and tired and talked to my phone because I thought maybe I would disappear if I didn't. Sometimes I did characters, sometimes I channeled other people around me, whatever. I don't want Terry Harrison on my property or his son with his little hand while he plays saxophone. He directs the air. I know he pretends to have a hearing problem that he does not, so that he can look like he's disabled. He can hear perfectly fine. If you drop something next to him, like the Brady Bunch episode, and the guy with the neck brace tripped his head up, this guy will hear it perfectly fine. If you open a can of tuna fish, just like you do for a cat, he'll hear it. So he needs to go. He has nothing to do with me, and I'd like that Yanagasauna that he has. I'd like that horn. I'd like to have several horns. He has a $12,000 horn that he stole off my property in Cressel because his daddy fucked my best friend in high school. Grazie. grande gratos. You are no mouse road now, baby, red paradise. Cherry ice cream smile, I suppose that's very nice. When it's plenty left and space to right to, that's your favorite find out best. You're something special and you look like you're the best. Her name is Rio and she dances on the sand, just like that river drifting through the dusty land. And when she shines, she really shows you all she can. Oh, Rio, Rio, dance across the Rio Grande. I've seen you on the and I've seen you on TV. Show met Australian stars. It did so much to me, like a birthday or a pretty view. And I'm still at you, Lord, just to do. Her name is Rio and she dances on the sand, just like that river dusted round the Red Sea land. Oh, when she shines, she really shows you all she can. Oh, Rio, Rio, dance across the Rio Grande. If I play the music, then they'll copyright. They'll mute it off me. Do 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 Look at that Jim down. Behind her side, down the slide, to make me feel alive, alive, alive. Take the chains. I saw the deeds on your eyes. Something. I know you're thinking. Tell you something. I know what you're thinking. Her name is Rio and she dances on the sand, just like that river dances across the rich land. And when she shines, she really shows you all she can. Jump Rio, Rio, dance across the Rio Grande. Rio, I don't need to understand. I'm not died there, but well, work I can. Oh, and now Rio, when I'll live past the land. Andriando, dondo, andriando. Do santrandio do atonda ite satriante so do triando atio dun 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 antranto do tio antranta do tio antranto sio Yatrantio sagalatrio play the tuba. Probably. Kerata sandrendiara vageriata papagerata tesu gerata mamaniata garata mamagiriata strantigerata papagerata randiara tosa garata. Akerata andrendia sandrendia mamageriatos. Somebody thinks I look like Silent Bob and Jay. Like it's one person. I love Prince, but I don't feel like that one right now. The night time lose it all, the spirit it comes through the wall. Sweet place I need to realize. A love and faith of times of love to live the things we planned. A test of giving to the things we rise. And do you feel scared? I do, but I won't stop and falter. And if we threw it all away, things could only get better. Whoa, 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 oh, whoa, 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 oh, whoa, oh, whoa, 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 oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Things playing, they're so last and final shout. They're turn into loneliness. And I did build to climb my lonely path and uphill climb. To dance of fingers with an all Tourette's. And do you feel scared? I do, but I won't stop and falter. And if we threw it all away, things could only get better. Wow. Whoa, 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 whoa. Like the kids I've worked with have never heard the word fuck. I do, but I won't stop and falter. And if we threw it all away, things can only get better. Wake 'em up, it's a party. I can handle the cheerleader part. It's okay. Bring it on. I can take it. Whoa, 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 oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 Howard Jones is in my CD collection that I don't have anymore. Just spotted, it's green. If you fuckers have it somewhere, you'll see it in there. It's best to fork it over. Nobody else wants that shit but me, I'm fairly certain. Baratas and then the garatos. Excuse me, garatos. Neandroga papa geriatra dia papa garatos. I don't know how late the robots stay up. They garatos and dia to garatos and beatro. They entrantos geratantro. Pancarato sando, tondo sondo, indose, dome no ma, no sondos, ne más, el doce, no me no más, no sondas, de dojonas. Cuando we take your voice, fantasy and fantasy, Sunday dos sondritos, nos montes fontiandi, el doce monte mamás. Las ondas de tus ondas, el doce no me más, de ondas naked ondas. Somebody no foste do de sol, dos antia donde canto soto, entre a dos ondiado, os entre a tu ando. El doce no vemos más, no son dos, de que son más. El doce no vemos más, de son dos, de que son más. Not something to no say, este no sonar. Se pretende sontar, no todo si el doce no vemos más, las ondas de mil son más. El doce no vemos más, las ondas de ti son más. Nada de dos, no de nada de dos días, la de dos son Dios. El doce no vemos más, no sontas de nu son más. El doce no vemos más, no sontas de nu son más. Ya trate seguiré tengana mami ya que todo estaba aquí tanto de karatos. Watch out. If it hits an hour, it just cuts off and doesn't save my shit. No matter that feels space and demand of different days down to the sun. Time to undoes me to heart sympathy. Well, I know that it is. I'm pleased by the 18 bus, to no face, I told you so. I'm pleased by everything else. Simply so much will now. But I said that is melody, Santi, ati ondo, Santi, anti, ando, sondo, eti ando, Santi, ando. Das ati ondo, Santi, ondo, ati, sondo, atri, ondo. Odo son di ando a ti do odo anti odo so a ti ante ado Garata Sandria te antio ton to to tratiato son canton triato Garata Sandra nella mano garata ora pepe dalla garata sombrete opera barato sangrete era nova garata Garata sombrete perché if I say things like I'd really like a massage, that means like some creepy guy comes in the middle of the night and spanks it over top of me, rubs it in. That counts as a massage, and they charge for it and everything. It's fucking scary. Personal care rate. There's beautiful songs in a rainy song, and that dance right now, there's another one. It's only another thing, and on and on, with the festival, you're not beautiful, like a thing come to life, invincible. I'd say look cold, late recall and they recall, you said you ain't life again. And I want you to know, baby, I love you like a love song, baby. I love you like a love song, baby. I love you like a love song, baby. And I keep hitting repeat, beep, 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 beep. I love you like a love song, baby. I love you like a love song, baby. I love you like a love song, baby. And I keep hitting repeat, beep, 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 beep. To me, that's my name on my mind, like a symphony. Until they look tired, they do to me. They can say to me, nothing to do. And it feels like I've been rescued, I've been set free, I've been hypnotized, I've experienced a knee. You are lyrical, beautiful, you are not. And I want you to know, baby, I love you like a love song, baby. I love you like a love song, baby. I love you like a love song, baby. And I keep hitting repeat, beep, 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 beep. I love you like a love song, baby. I love you like a love song, baby. I love you like a love song, baby. And I keep hitting repeat, beep, 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 beep. No one can close to stand alone to every record I own. Return to my heart, you said you are. Song that goes on and on. I love you like a love song, baby. I love you like a love song, baby. I love you like a love song, baby. And I keep hitting repeat, beep, 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 beep. I love you like a love song, baby. I love you like a love song, baby. I love you like a love song, baby. And I like a love song. Kiatrantos manigeretos, kiatranto caratos, andrandiarato, gatantriaratos, kiatrantos, thank you, tricasomba. Dos andrandia canto, adriandi otaca andriati o sondo, a catriato sandia dondrondo. Dosi andreantico, adrianto posondo, adia somba peneki adrianto sondo, adia trando sandia cadriando. Dos andriando, anda triantico, antos andriandi, andriando, andi che adriaso, ondio, adi, andria, dosi ondo, andasi andria, ondrio di sondo, adria, andria di ondo, you belong to me, you belong with me. Dos entrandico, adriandi ondo, so dondrando, adgi entrando so, andriandi ondo, andriandi, andiandu, andrando, andriantondo, andriandi ondo, sondo, ondo, andriandi ondondo, oddio santrandi ondondo, ando candrando si ondo, ando tianto, andranti ondo, ambandriote so ti andre catondio so, undio atrantundo, andrioto sandriantundo, andriando sondriantondo, you belong with me. Otretos encontriandondo, adriando, ondriandondo, you come along with me, you belong with me. Dos andrantiondo, dos atriando, dos andriando, standrandiando, o catrediando, sotriandio, ando sonde, andrandiondo, o desiondrondo, Andres dos cantriati ono, antios dontrianti ondo, atriando, apretos cantrian, antos atrondi on, audisondo, you belong with me, you belong with me. Come along with me. If you ever been that style, you belong with me. You belong with me. Garato sandrenne me get garato. Oh, trombone. So John wants me to play trombone solo. Garato sandrenne me garato. I probably have time for one more. This it's commercials. I don't have commercial-free Pandora. So, my God, so whatever comes on here is what happens. I do have Spotify, but it's more, I kind of like the idea of random. Do you have Pro Tools, John? I'm using Pro Tools these days. Grata Garanta Sarada Banda Grata Dion Sinan, Domino Deltion, Dion Deltion, Bondi Sweet Water Film, Bottom Meditates only, Dion Deltion, No Same Domino Sunday, Time 22 minutes. Bottom taking a tune, handsome. Oh no, one team that don't need a song. When you say me, when you touch me. So I'm playing the answer. The days I'm with only a play now, but I don't so. 12 me, I don't see until my thunder. Don't tell me, then I don't do, don't get to that dawn. Something that don't be into nighttime sound, nighttime sound. That they sound say don't empty. Something I know, now. So say now, and simply know you. Just let me love you. The tempting time is saying I'm right to take don't think that's on me, but I need some. Just let me love you. Nang tay tone and tone, something, something the ancient, like some sound, like some sound, like the sound, cycle, the unclean, going on, down please now, don't say now. That's why we love you. Just let me love you. Just we only sing your upside down, down. The only smell to understand is song. Just only love you. Just don't take one, so no need to lay on the toes, turn down and let it go. No, shout to yourself down, not if time feel down, don't say not down the toe, don't is the so, tell to let them, don't do a song, it don't, somebody don't, I love you. Let me love you. Let me love you. Don't something down the same now, not so down, down. Sound the time, sound and down the sun. Just let me love you. Das sind Rennen, ich gehe da hin. I haven't heard this song before. I like it so far. BTS rocks. Like fucking BTS is awesome. Kanata se karatu mamara to get gananto mami gado to tratos med get a trondre dio do karatos. A garantio do papa queria trondes so do get ondro do bageratos trendioroto. It's too late to play trombone right now. It's, I live in apartments. I have to live back on the farm to play trombone and then, now. And I'm young yourself, say what, down, take it out and round, get out, jump out, shut down, and down. Turn up, down, and up, la, then and out, then and out, la, then and out, then and out, la, then and out, that's her name, what's my name? Nothing else out of your place, my man. Cheap code out there, guess I'm taking my land. Burn, burn. Burn, and we can go till my champagne. Say, bad, go down to the faith, and I feel so get go. I think, I go, I go. Hecky up I ho hecky ho up a gay oh bayaka I go I go I go bay go bay hey ka bay ba bay yeah. Oh, yeah, I baka umba yaka aka umba yaka shaka umba iba abakea ayako aka yoko iya aka ayamba yopa ipa yaka hayo mapakia baka ya ika umba aka yaka baka yomba papaku ipe yaka pai yaka Sante tam de sayaka by then do then you do then send the loop then say take a lot me lie take some me die la six me die this me then love I thought and then do that down to do down there stand out I care, but I could buy. Oh, by a paka, here by go, shapaka, that's a guy, oh, yoka, oh, so paka, Lisa love me, Lisa love me, Lisa love me. La Lisa love me, la Lisa love me, la Lisa love me, la Lisa love me. I got a super a. I get some the figure. I can. You can show you on the figure. You got a. You want my trombone in the back? Sick it. I go. She and me call say okay. I can't be say a question. The guy has a trend. Take a sudden the yeah, some Lansando that's the Garatama Baradia that Garatos. I haven't heard that Doja Cat, but it's not really singing song. It sounds like more of a dancing thing. Baratos and then they get it to Padotto trendian regatos trendian and garatas rababegia drando do garatos. Trando babagera trandiaratos. Drantos dendrigada yeah trotum bagera. So inside the wind was low, jealous the stay, same so dear, death the saw, that the sea. Something of the same bone was said, something of the same bone was said. Save my light of wise from my door, see my mouth saying of the door. I did this phone to the play. I'm going to say, oh, just die. We've seen they boom down to say, I'm going to swim by, just die. Don't take and feel love, safety of the blue, the soul, the change of another so low. Did I stretch of the earth, the dumb face, first and the blue, this place. There's no sound that the old, thousand the old. Thousand you, just before starting me, the same as something for same. You searching for on to bear. Better fuzzy those easy by so near to go days face like the let's simply something for say the same place for something leading the safeties for the team they say the same seems to for so simply. Pakaratas son 30 kireto, mama karatas. Agas, aldetonandos. Mando. Iato. Seatandon Dio. Don Dio, do sondo, don Dio, do so Dio, so do Dio. Ondo, so ondo, ando sati. Ando sato antrati ondo indo sota triatondo atoso onto andicando ete atoto so ototo ete asopate ondo. And they say, ondo toso atandrato, e te se te trandiontoso, anta satatiato. Tonto se te, ondo dio toso, tondio tonto, e te a tonto so tonti, a dio toso dio tonto so tonto, e dio toso toco to pati, a toso ti. Anto sateado mantra to oti tonto to santo to and se o tanto ete 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 a u a Dasatratova entes satatunto soto un popo diatoso Odo santran ondo ati ati ando. No santo te undo santriando man ondo sota tre ondo si ondo te ondo sta tranti toton ondo attenda sati addio adeto de donde santo. Dos andra do santo tria tonto si o anto et setri anto sacatre si to santo ati atasa anto o te asoto loto tonti atosato posunto te ando dati ando atosati o te omba e ata te ato beatus te ato adeo to santo oh. That song doesn't have any fucking words, but I just made some. Have a good night. Ciao.